Whipping up all of your favorite recipes.
Simply Food.
You should know by now that you're in for a treat.
Simply Food.
There's no other channel where you'd rather be.
Simply Food.
Seafood, pasta, cakes, and pies. Sing and laugh and even cry. Like and share and hit subscribe. Simply Food by TY.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Simply Food by TY, and today we are gonna make some barbecue jerk ribs. Let me tell you something right now. Well, I tell y'all, these ribs are so bomb. It is a game changer for me indefinitely, okay? I'm probably only going to eat ribs this way from now on in the summertime. I'm that serious. I could not believe how delicious these ribs turned out. And of course, I know some of you are probably thinking, well, this isn't groundbreaking. Well, guess what? It's groundbreaking to me because I've never done it before. And I know how good my jerk seasoning is. So I was like, why not apply this to some ribs? And let's just see what happens. And the good thing is, because the jerk seasoning is filled with so much flavor, you don't have to add anything else directly to the meat. And I can promise you, it will not lack a stitch of flavor, okay? So as you guys can see, I am prepping up my baby back ribs here. Now, of course, you guys know in your kitchen, you can cook however you choose to. So if you are, a family that doesn't eat pork, by all means, use beef ribs. I actually also prefer beef ribs, but they didn't have any. So that's why I'm using these pork baby back ribs. But like I said, you can use whatever you would like. At the moment, I'm just trimming it up. I got these from Wegmans. So, they took pretty good care of these ribs. They look really good. Just inspecting it to see how much fat I need to trim off. When you're trimming up ribs, you don't want to remove all of the fat, but you just want to make sure that there's not an excessive amount so that you don't bite down into just a big old piece of gristle. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. So once you get that nice and cleaned up, we're going to lay that out on some heavy duty aluminum foil, set that to the side, and let's focus on the jerk seasoning. This is the exact same jerk seasoning that I use for my jerk chicken. So we have green onions, regular onions, thyme, bay leaf, scotch bonnet, whole Jamaican allspice, ginger, garlic, soy sauce, Worcestershire. We're going to be adding all of that to the blender, as well as some spices as well. We're also going to be adding in some cinnamon, as well as Jamaican Choice Flavor Enhancer. All of these Jamaican Choice products you can find on Amazon. The all-purpose seasoning, the chicken seasoning. We're also going to be adding in some ground cloves. My little secret ingredient, which is the tamarind concentrate. It is everything, okay? So let's get to it. To your blender, you want to add in 2 whole bunches of green onion. We're also going to be adding in a nice big chunk of thyme. Don't be afraid of that. Also throw in 3 bay leaves. We're going to add in 1 medium-sized sweet onion, a nice chunk of ginger. We're also going to be adding in about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic. We're going to be adding in a half a tablespoon of whole Jamaican allspice, which I also found on Amazon. 2 Scotch bonnet peppers. Now, if you want your spicier, you can add in 3, but if I were you, I would not. 2 is just enough. We're going to also add in a half a cup of low sodium soy sauce, as well as a 1/3 of a cup of Worcestershire sauce. And now I'm going to just run down the seasonings, okay? We are going to put in a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of ground cloves, 1 tablespoon of tamarind concentrate, a teaspoon of the flavor enhancer, 1 tablespoon of the all-purpose seasoning, and 1 tablespoon of the chicken seasoning, okay? So that's all of the seasonings that you have in there. I will also make sure that I type this out in the description box, just in case there's any concerns or questions. Typically I don't do that, but for something like this, I want to make sure that you guys definitely get it right. So I'll make sure that I put all of that in the blender. Now, this particular clip that you're seeing right now of me making it is actually from when I made the jerk chicken months ago. You see, this will make you a pretty large batch. So I froze all of my leftover jerk seasoning, you see? So this right here, what you're seeing is when it was freshly made, and you see how it has a light brown color to it, full of flavor, looks absolutely delicious. You can use that right away, okay? If you wanted to, you can use it right away. But now let me show you what it looks like after it's been sitting for about a month or so. See how nice and dark that got? My God. I had that in the freezer and I, decided to unthaw it for this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 2 to 3 hefty tablespoons of that jerk seasoning and put it over the meat. As you can see, I did not let that spoon touch the meat or just, waste it all, because that jerk seasoning goes a long ways, you guys. So I can also still keep using it for something else. Once you're done with making your jerk seasoning, whatever you have left, put it in a mason jar, put it in the freezer. That way you can use it whenever you want. It can also stay in the fridge for about 2 to 3 months. So, just keep that in mind. And now I'm just rubbing it down. It's just that simple. You don't have to add anything else. Trust me, follow my process, and I guarantee you will realize that you ain't got to do nothing else, okay? Wrap that up nice and tightly in the aluminum foil. Of course, if you're going to cook these on the grill, if you're watching this, during the summertime or, someplace where it's nice and warm, absolutely prepare yours on the grill. I'm going to be baking mine in the oven just because that's just, what I like. Put them in the oven at 325 degrees. You're going to bake them for 2.5 hours on a baking tray, okay? And then we'll get back to it a little bit later on. Let's talk about the barbecue sauce. Now, I'm going to be using Sweet Baby Ray's, so I'm adding in, I would say, roughly about 1/2 cup. I'm only making 1 rack of ribs, so I don't need that much. I'm also going to add in about 1.5 tablespoons of ketchup, as well as the jerk seasoning. Once again, if you want yours a little bit on the spicier side, you can add in more. I'm only going to add in about I would say about 1 tablespoon worth. I'm also going to add in a few pinches of brown sugar. Of course, that's optional. And then just a splash of vinegar. If you like yours more on the tangier side, of course, add in some more vinegar. This part of the recipe, you can gauge off of taste. If there's more things you would like to add to it, by all means, you absolutely can. If you want to add mustard and all that other type of stuff, you can. Once again, it's your kitchen. If you like a different brand of barbecue sauce, use whatever brand you like. As long as you add my jerk seasoning to it, essentially, it should still turn out the same with no struggles at all. So that's been in the oven baking at 325 degrees for 2.5 hours, okay? Those ribs are falling apart. Do you hear me? The ribs turned out bomb. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open them up and we're going to get ready to start to lather it with some of that barbecue sauce. As you can see, that meat is just falling apart. Now, I will say, if you guys are going to be making racks upon racks upon racks of ribs, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to double, if not triple, that jerk seasoning, okay? This was a pretty small rack of ribs. I know it might look kind of big, but it isn't. And I use, like I said, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the seasoning to cover this rack of ribs. If you know you're gonna be making multiple racks of ribs, if I were you, I would make double, if not triple, the jerk seasoning. Because think of it this way, if you're doing this for a barbecue, you can use that leftover jerk seasoning to make jerk chicken, okay? So don't, you know what I'm saying? Just make extra is what I'm saying, because you're definitely going to use it. Now that we got the ribs covered in our sauce, we're going to put it back in the oven uncovered I raised the temperature up to 400 for an additional 1/2 hour. And that's it, y'all. I'm telling you right now, these ribs were everything and then some. I hope you guys try it. Look, if you are new to my channel, welcome to Simply Food by TY. If you're one of my returning subscribers, y'all babies know I love y'all so, so very much. And as always, y'all babies stay cute and take care. Bye, guys.
Slaying in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply Food.